I haven't seen many videos on the Paint Serum 6, and it is a pro grade coating. So for those of you that want to tackle it, and maybe you're starting to have a similar issues or just things that you've got to work through, I want to share with you guys like how to kind of troubleshoot each of those variables to try to keep it a enjoyable experience.
One of the difficulties of being a detailer is that oftentimes when I look at a vehicle, I see the defects. Sometimes I wish that I didn't have such an eye for detail, that I could just look at a vehicle and appreciate the artwork and the beauty. Today we have a 4Runner in, and this is the really cool underground flat gray color. But my biggest issue with these colors is that they show every defect. While pearl and metallic flake paint can sometimes be an issue when it comes to touch-up, they sometimes are the most enjoyable to polish because they give you the deepest satisfaction. Whereas with these new modern flat colors that are on the market, not only can they be difficult to touch up, but they can also be very difficult to polish. Their paint can actually be more sensitive and not want to handle an aggressive approach. Now, even though this is a newer vehicle, it's already on its second owner. The first owner, I'm pretty sure, heavily used the automatic car wash with brushes. And this paint is also not very thick. We averaged anywhere from 3.2 to 3.4 mils of paint. So that kind of limited how aggressive I could be with my approach. And also because this is more finicky, sensitive paint, it didn't really tolerate microfiber or wool. I would have had to do at least 2 steps afterwards to finish down with clarity. So because this paint is thinner and because it is also more sensitive and we don't want to have to do 3 steps and charge a customer $2,000 to perfect the paint, when especially this color paint, it's not maintainable to keep it perfected, we kind of landed with a really good correction that focused on removing the severe marring, spiderwebbing from the brushes, and more importantly, finishing down with clarity. But now that we've corrected some of the damage, we need to add protection so that way we can avoid this in the future.
So here's a public service announcement for those of you that have a flat gray colored vehicle. While the paint is super cool, your paint, unfortunately, is the most prone to showing defects on it. It is going to stand out like a sore thumb. So if you go through the automatic car wash, be warned, your paint is going to look like this. So just do yourself a favor. If you have a vehicle with this color paint, don't go through the automatic car wash with brushes. In fact, better yet, consider a ceramic coating. They're not going to prevent scratches, but you don't have to be as aggressive to remove dirt from the paint, which means it'll help preserve the condition of your clear coat, because that, we're having some fun today.
Oh, and for those of you that were wondering, yes, I was using the Fine Lab Mach 3 polisher with this. It did a fantastic job of cutting through all of the heavy defects on this paint. No stalling, really powerful polisher.
So today is the day that I finally try a ceramic coating that I first laid my eyes on it in November. And to be quite honest, immediately was in awe of the packaging, but a little intimidated with the actual coating. And sometimes because of my ADHD, when I am intimidated by something, I procrastinate, I push it off. And today we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna take the leap, and unfortunately it's on a giant behemoth of a vehicle. And this car has come a long, long way since we had it yesterday. We did a wash, we did a chemical decon clay towel treatment. Though this is a 2025, it looked like it was a 2005 by the life that it has lived. The owner has only had it since, I believe he said since November, but the previous owner, pretty sure they took it through an automatic car wash on a daily basis. It was hammered. There are a lot of really deep scratches on it from, I'm assuming, a snow brush or shovel, could be both. They're pretty deep. We got it to like 75%, if not a little bit more, correction. We don't need to have paint perfection to apply our ceramic coating, but we did need to do proper prep, which we have done, okay? She looks shiny. She looks great, but don't look too close. Don't get in too close because you're going to see some flaws, but that doesn't matter for the coating. So all that to say, we are now ready to apply the Paint Serum 6 to this behemoth of a 4Runner. Now, why did we go with 6 versus 4 or 2? Well, the customer wanted the best chance possible of this lasting. This is a new to him vehicle. He's wanting something that is maybe going to withstand some automatic car wash soaps, because he does go through the non-touch occasionally. We know we're not going through the brushes, right? Right? We're doing non-touch if we're doing it. But even if we go through a non-touch automatic car wash, our 6-year serum, let's say we cut that in half, 3 years. But this coating was actually tested for over 7 years. That's the thing I love about Nick and Kelly. When they do product development, they're not like 6 months in development and then we've got a 10-year coating in 6 months. No, they say we've got a 6-year paint serum. We're going to test it for 7 years. So that way we know when we say 6 years, it's 6 years. Here's to hoping we're going to actually see this vehicle back and share with you guys real world updates. Does paint serum 6 actually last 6 years? Is the customer even going to keep this vehicle for 6 years? I don't know. But when it comes to application, let's just do it. I'm nervous, but let's just go ahead and get started.
So right off the bat, we're gonna acknowledge the craftsmanship that this ceramic coating packaging comes in. Okay, if you're looking for something to display in your shop, I mean, look at that. When they had this on their stand at SEMA, I think it drew more people to the House of Rags booth than anything else. There were so many competitors coming to just look at their packaging, let alone if the ceramic coating is going to speak for itself. This is actually Kelly and Nick's fingerprints that molded each and every one of these grips. This allows you to grip it a little bit more securely. And I feel like this actually looks like a high-end cologne bottle. But we're going to go ahead. We have a stopper in here, and they provide an orifice. So this is actually really smart because coatings can start to cure in the bottle. So we're going to go ahead, push this in. All right, that's going to reduce the amount of air. And then we also have an applicator. We're going to try it out. Normally I use an auto fiber saver, but we'll see if we like this finger applicator. All right, we also have some instructions with this. Shake well prior to opening. Don't coat in direct sunlight. Wear PPE, gloves, goggles, and mask for safety. Do not inhale. That's not scary. Test a small area first. Every garage climate is different. Cold takes forever. Hot, blink and you'll miss it. Use within 7 days of opening. That I'm not a fan of, guys, because this is not cheap and I don't have that many cars to coat. Prime applicator, 3 lines of paint serum to start, then just a few drops per panel. 1 panel at a time. Big panels, cut them in half and take your time. Apply with overlap, circles, or crosshatch. Wait 1 to 5 minutes. Nick actually did tell me, in my climate, I could be 30 seconds, I could be applying immediately level. When you see hazing and a light sweating, that's your signal to wipe off. Wipe off 2 towels minimum at the ready. We have our final one, and we have a plush microfiber. Towel number 1 does 95% of the heavy leveling. Towel number 2 finishes the job. Use a fresh side of towel for every panel. Expect to use 4 towels on a full car. Nick did say he would rather go through more towels than less. So he did say to me yesterday, apply and immediately level. If you go through more towels, that's fine, but you're going to have a more enjoyable experience. I appreciate that. I'm not a fan of grabby coatings. And when they say apply and immediately level, sometimes that makes me a little nervous. Okay, just being honest. Aftercare. 2 hours, safe to touch, but go easy. 12 to 24 hours, safe for water contact, dependent on humidity level. So I would say if you are in the south and you've got a ton of humidity in the air, keep it inside. Because even the condensation, even if it's dry but very humid, that can cause some ceramic coatings to have like immediate streaks or issues on the panel. I've seen it. If you are even dealing with cold temperatures and condensation and the customer doesn't have a garage, keep it in the garage. Condensation and humidity can still screw up a coating when it's in its early stages of curing. So take these specifically when a manufacturer says that. So 7 days safe for soaps, shampoos, and chemicals. So with this coating, Nick has said if you can try to stick to that 12 to 24 hour window, that is ideal. but he understands that might not be for everyone. But realistically, 12 hours before it gets wet. 3 lines. How fast does this come out? Okay. Now, I remember watching Josh's video, and he had a ton of coating on his applicator that he just kind of did the entire thing. Now, that was the 4-year. This is the 6-year. So we're going to work in kind of my standard, divide the hood into a quarter. We're going to put this down, and then we're not going to mess around with it. I see sweating. I see haze. Okay, thank you, Jesus. You literally just heard me sigh. He said, if you do what I say, you'll have no problems. Super easy. Thank you, Nick. Few drops. Okay, does come out fast. And I actually like that. I cannot stand it when it takes forever to get a coating out of the bottle. That just slows down the whole process, and that is sometimes annoying. You already are sometimes having to manage all the things that you got to do with a detail. And I actually really like this applicator. I didn't think I would, but I do. Okay. Trying to show you guys a closer look, and we're just going to let it sit. How far? I don't want to push it. I do see sweating. Why push it if we don't have to? And I'm just going to get my softbox light out just to see, do we have any sort of streaks? And I can tell you guys, slickness-wise, that second towel, you immediately feel the slickness. It is very slick under my towel. And I don't feel like I'm pushing around. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Nothing. Let's go, Nick. No issues whatsoever.
You just had to say it, Chelsea.
Now we're going to see, can I do, that's a lot. We're going to see, can I do the rest of this hood all at once? Is that going to make it difficult for us? All right, so I can see that one up there. We are starting to haze, and I'm going well beyond the halfway point just to make sure we don't miss anything. Okay. Put the lid. Where's the lid? Lid. If you can, put the lid on top just to kind of prevent the coating from curing. I know it's annoying sometimes to have to stop and start. Okay, so that's definitely hazy. And that is still super easy. That first towel, holy snap. That is so freaking slick. Oh. Good God. I really want to see this vehicle back. I really want to. All right, we're going to be putting this on my Subaru because I've got to see this in person. I've got to know what our hydrophobics are going to look like. Because installation checks all the boxes for me. Now I want to know, are we going to have the performance? We've got the slickness. We've got the ease. Okay? Just because they say it's the pro grade coating should not turn you away or intimidate you, because you follow their instructions, it's a breeze.
So these first few sections that I did with the ceramic coating were absolutely a breeze. Sometimes I get in my head about things and I think that they're going to be more difficult, and it intimidates me. But these first few sections, I was loving this ceramic. Unfortunately though, something along the way started to shift. And when you're running into issues with a ceramic coating, there are a few variables that you can always kind of eliminate to troubleshoot. If you're noticing streaking or smears, maybe you have a soiled applicator and you need a fresh applicator, because sometimes you can pick up dirt from the underbelly that maybe you missed during the prep process. Or maybe your towels are oversaturated and they're not doing as good of a job at leveling. Also, sometimes it could be the temperature or the humidity in the garage. Maybe that coating isn't working in the environment that you like, so you have to shorten your flash time, or possibly even shorten the sections that you're coating and decrease the amount of time that you're letting the coating sit on there. But it can be frustrating trying to figure out all these things as you're working, especially if all of those elements are getting worse and worse as you're going, which is my case. You'll see I'm spending a lot of time on these back sections, kind of reapplying coating, buffing, getting rid of streaks and high spots, because that was my issue. I was having to fight this coating more and more as I was working with it. Even if I was immediately leveling, I was still having high spots that were very aggressive to level. Reapplying product and then immediately leveling eliminated it, but it was still a struggle. I even tried switching applicators because maybe I had soiling on my applicator. This one did not like this coating, so we ended up switching to even another applicator. So it was frustrating, not as smooth sailing as I thought, but I'll walk you through our process, how we figured out what was wrong as we go.
Get off my cord. I don't believe it's humidity in the shop because I have the AC on. And even though I went heavy with that, I think I'm just going too thin.
Wetter is definitely better with the ceramic coating. If you apply it too thin, it's going to flash too quickly and it's going to bite you in the butt with trying to get all the streaks out. So rather than try to be conservative, we're going to go heavier so that way it's easier to remove. Even though we had a brand new applicator, we're going thicker with our ceramic coating application, and I was leveling as soon as I applied. I was still having high spots that the only way to remove it was reapply fresh product and immediately level. It was taking a lot of time, a lot of energy, which I did not have.
It is starting to flash pretty quick on me, so I'm having to work in smaller sections. So we're gonna just kind of divide this up into quarters instead of trying to chase half of a panel, or maybe even doing an entire panel. And sometimes you're gonna have those tweaks and those adjustments as you're working because maybe humidity is changing as it's getting warmer throughout the day.
You'll notice that this does haze up pretty quickly at this point. I literally have 5 to 10 seconds to grab my towels in between each section.
So what I was experiencing the first couple panels is not necessarily what I'm getting now. That doesn't mean I don't like it, but there's definitely just some troubleshooting that you've got to be aware of. So for those of you that maybe you're in a climate similar to me, it is probably about 65 degrees in the garage. I do have the AC on just to try to keep the humidity more controlled. 5-10 seconds it's taking me to grab my towels. It might be kind of setting us up for some issues. So I actually just got off the phone with Nick in the UK. That's just how amazing he is. I'm not saying you guys need to call him all the time, but he knew that I was working on this vehicle with this coating. And I explained to him some of the issues that I'm seeing. Our first few panels were a dream. No issues. I literally, you saw me, I was like, this is super easy. Somewhere along the way, as we've been working with the coating, things have shifted. Now, this is where we troubleshoot and we try to figure out what are those variables. And one thing that Nick actually said to me is like, what are the temperatures? What are the humidity? Because this can be somewhat humidity dependent. And I said, what is like ideal humidity for you that you have found? And he said kind of in that 50 to 60% is the sweet spot. When I first started, I didn't have the AC on and we were about 65 degrees in here, about 51% humidity, but I turned the AC on to lower humidity because sometimes humidity can be an issue. And he said, maybe crack the garage door. Number one, that's not bad for ventilation because it is a little bit of a stronger coating. But he said, maybe try to raise the humidity a little bit and see if you can get back to kind of the environment and the climate that you were doing when you first started. So I think what we're gonna do, troubleshoot, open the garage a little bit, try to get some of the temperature warmer in here, maybe a little bit more humidity, not crazy. This isn't like we're in Louisiana and we're outside. You still want to have some climate control with this coating, but we're just trying to figure things out so we can raise the humidity ever so slightly and then continue to work smaller sections, go heavier with the coating. I actually asked Nick, like, how far can I take this coating? Like, how many vehicles can you do with this coating? And he said,
that with a 50 milliliter size bottle for a vehicle this size, he would much rather use the entire bottle on this vehicle and go heavier with it, have consistent application versus going thin and trying to get it to stretch further. So that does kind of change how I'm approaching this. I'm not gonna try to be conservative with the coating and save it for any future vehicles. We're just gonna send it, use the entire bottle if we have to on this one vehicle, and just make sure that you are charging accordingly for using that much coating. I'd love to say that you could get 2 vehicles with this one bottle, and maybe you can. Nick said in the UK, their vehicles are a lot smaller versus like what we have in the US. So it's kind of hard for him to say get 2 vehicles out of one bottle. So we're gonna take all that information and see if we can have a more enjoyable experience for the remainder of our panels that we need to coat. But I just wanted to share this with you guys. I haven't seen many videos on the Paint Serum 6, and it is a pro grade coating. So for those of you that want to tackle it, and maybe you're starting to have a similar issues or just things that you've got to work through, I want to share with you guys like how to kind of troubleshoot each of those variables to try to keep it a enjoyable experience. I loved this coating when we first worked with it. So clearly I don't think that the coating has changed that drastically. I think environment, that is what has changed. So we're gonna try to get some humidity in this room, but not much. Keep 50 to 60%. And already just having the garage door up for a few minutes and turning the AC off, we were able to raise the humidity. That's about where I was when I started. So let's see if that improves the application. Okay. Get that one, do that section. Less streaking, less high spots. You can actually see where I missed from one section to the next. All right, that was a lot easier.
And I'll just say, it's a lot easier thanks to my softbox light. This is an easy coating to see when it comes to leveling, but the streaks and the high spots, I would not have been able to see it without this light.
We're getting into a rhythm now.
While raising the humidity in the garage did help with this coating, I'm not going to say that that's going to be the issue with every coating. Some coatings actually prefer a lower humidity point. So this is going to be coating specific. Now, even though raising the humidity did make it easier, I was still struggling with streaks and high spots. Not as much, it wasn't setting up as quickly, but it wasn't 100% removing the issues.
Personally, unless you are an experienced detailer, I wouldn't recommend this coating. And this isn't hard, but if you don't have experience with coatings, knowing how to kind of troubleshoot some of the issues that you could have as things maybe shift, because they can and they will shift as your day goes on. I am in a climate controlled environment and I'm still struggling with finding the sweet spot when it comes to environment with this coating. Does that mean that it's bad? No. It just means that pro grade is going to be a little bit more of an involved process. That comes with the quality of the coating itself. Higher solids, that's what's going to happen sometimes. So when I say to anybody, you're going to be able to grab this coating and master it, no, but that's why Nick on the website and on the product description lets it be known very clearly that they only recommend this coating to those who have mastered ceramic coatings. And I'm not going to say I'm a master. I've worked with enough though that I kind of know how to adjust, how to pivot. And yet, even knowing all that, sometimes at the end of the day, some coatings, they can just still be that hard. Not every coating is designed for the DIYer. Not every coating is designed for every person to love it. But I will be applying this to my Subaru because with this being a more involved coating, hopefully we're going to see the performance out of it that you should expect for a product that has maybe a more skilled level of application. So we are all done applying our Yum Paint Serum 6 to this 4Runner. It is a spring day, heavy pollen, high wind, and I am noticing that this coating has a little bit of like a static charge to it. It is attracting dust, so hopefully we don't have pollen kind of like to it, but I'm nervous to pull it out into the sunlight because I don't know if we're gonna have streaks. I don't know if we're gonna have high spots, but thankfully it is a sunny day that I can do that. You should do that with every ceramic coating if you can, and that's why the softbox light sometimes can come in handy with being able to identify those high spots or streaks in the early stages, which are easy to fix, versus letting it sit on there for an hour and a half. We started at 9. It is a little bit past 11 at this point, so it took 2 hours for us to apply this ceramic to the entire vehicle, just because we had to kind of work with all of those issues that we were dealing with, it being high spots, grabby, streaky, kind of having to shorten our window of how much we ceramic coated and how quickly we leveled it off. Added into there about maybe a 5-minute conversation with Nick, but all in all, we're done. The slickness on this paint is off the charts. Like, it is one of the slickest coatings that I have felt in a long while, especially fresh. It's only going to get slicker as it fully cures. But for those of you that wanted to know just how difficult is Yum Paint Serum 6, I'm not gonna say that it is the most difficult coating that I've ever worked with. We had changing environmental variables that we had to deal with. So hopefully this video helps those of you that maybe you have a few coatings under your belt and you want to try to tackle this ceramic coating. This helps you kind of troubleshoot maybe some issues that you could potentially have. I'm not saying you will. I've seen some people say they absolutely love working with this. Pennsylvania, the weather can be fickle. Like, it sucks sometimes. It can be super humid, and we just have to kind of deal with humidity sometimes and how it reacts with ceramic coatings. I'm really anticipating seeing this on my Subaru and being able to test it in the real world. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe and follow. We will hopefully be seeing this vehicle back in 6 months to share with you guys real world updates on how an average customer is maintaining this coating. But we're also going to be putting their 2, 4, and 6-year serums on my Subaru, testing them in the real world, not topped. We're going to be just literally putting it on and then seeing where it goes. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and follow. I know a lot of you have probably been just as intrigued as I have been with these serums. We will be applying the 2-year serum on a customer's vehicle tomorrow, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that video. We're going to try to edit that and get that out to you guys as soon as possible. I think we're going to have a much different experience. 6-year, it's definitely not for the beginner. It's not for the first time installer. But for those of you that want a professional grade ceramic without having to go through all the hoops and all the certifications and all the classes, hopefully a video like this is a little bit like the class. Consider yourself certified. Just make sure, climate controlled environment, 50 to 60% humidity. If you have issues where it starts to get grabby or streaky or you have high spots, shorten your sections, apply immediately level, can always reactivate with fresh coating, and that way you have streak-free application. But we're gonna go ahead, pull this out, examine it. Fingers crossed, everything looks great, but probably not going to. It's okay. It's okay. We'll deal with it. And sometimes that's the case with these pro grade coatings. There's a reason why they have kind of a little disclaimer on the bottom: do not attempt. Like, we're assuming if you buy it, you're a professional and you know what you're up against. So, Paint Serum 6, it's serious, but it's seriously legit.
All right, so I know we need to put dressing on the tires. Don't worry, we'll get that done after we do our walk around. I was so eager to see if we had any sort of high spots on this paint. And you guys, thanks to our softbox light, we did not have a single high spot on this paint. We didn't remove 100% of the damage from the automatic car wash. We were able to remove a majority of it, but the gloss and shine on this 4Runner, it has literally transformed it. This gray color looks so freaking awesome. When the customer came to pick it up, he was ecstatic that we were able to undo a good bit of the damage and now make maintenance easier for him. Was it a challenge? Yes. But was it worth it? 100% yes. And I know that this was a longer video, and for those of you who have kept watching all the way through, thank you so much for watching. There was just a lot of information that I wanted to share about my experience with this coating to make sure that you guys have the best information possible, that you're set up for success. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up. And if you have used this ceramic coating, share with me down below. What was your experience like? Was it similar? This vehicle, the slickness is literally off the charts. Whatever issues we had to work through were so worth it. I think the customer, as soon as they touch it or try to close the door, they might actually be like, it's too slick. I mean, is that such a thing? But this vehicle looks like a completely different vehicle. I am super happy with how everything turned out. I think the customer is as well. We're gonna put the link to all the products that we use to get this vehicle prepped and to apply the coating, even the lighting, things like that, which will make a huge difference. I thought we were gonna have a ton of high spots and streaks, and we don't have any. So thankfully the softbox light, it was our savior in this moment to be able to inspect while involved. It is worth it to have this kind of an outcome. So for those of you that wanna try it out for yourself, I'm gonna put the links to all the products that we use down below. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section. Make sure you guys subscribe and follow as we test out more of these serums and put them on my vehicle. So really excited. Nick, thanks for being available, for helping me out. If you guys have any questions, let me know, but we'll see you guys in the next detail.